Lego sun blazed like fire on the roofs of a koi. But for Adesuwa, the heat outside was nothing compared to the heat inside her chest. Her hands shook as she unfolded the white and gold envelope that had just been delivered to her front door. The glossy card inside glittered, too bright, too loud, too proud. The wedding ceremony of Femi Adegon and Miss Bukola Adewale. Her breath caught. Femi, her ex-husband, the man who once promised her heaven, dragged her through hell, and then left her to crawl out alone. But what made her fingers tremble wasn't the invitation. No, it was a little handwritten note attached to it in Femi's familiar slanted handwriting. I know you're still struggling. Come and see how a real woman keeps a man. Don't embarrass yourself with your poverty clothes. Her heart punched itself from inside. So that was it. He invited her to disgrace her, to mock her, to parade his new life in her face, to show everyone how well he was doing without the wife he once claimed was his destiny. Adesuwa closed her eyes, counting her breaths like she had learned during the darkest nights, when the twins were still babies, when she didn't know how she would feed them, when her body was still weak from childbirth, when she cried silently so they wouldn't hear. But that was years ago, before everything changed, before the miracle, before her triplets became the light that guided her into wealth she never asked for but inherited, before her world transformed in ways Femi never believed possible, before she became the woman she was now. Her phone buzzed. It was her younger sister, Imaid. Sis, did you get it? Imaid breathed. Adesuwa swallowed. Yes, I told you he did it on purpose. Imaid hissed. All over social media. He's bragging about marrying an upgrade. They say he even told people you'll show up with your slippers and old handbag. Adesuwa smiled softly, but there was no humor in it. If he wants a show, she whispered, I'll give him one. Because what Femi didn't know, what absolutely nobody knew, was that Adesuwa was no longer the girl who left his house with her newborns wrapped in a worn Ankara shawl. She was no longer the shaking, heartbroken shadow he abandoned. She no longer walked the streets begging for help. Today, she was a woman of power, quiet power, the kind that didn't shout but roared when it appeared. Her life had changed the day billionaire philanthropist chief Edinosa Amareb, her late mother's forgotten employer, discovered the truth. Her mother had left behind a hidden inheritance, land, shares, and a will written in Adesuwa's name. Overnight, she went from struggling to surviving, from surviving to rising, from rising to shining, and she never looked back. But now she was being summoned to her past, not for closure, not for forgiveness, but for humiliation. A slow, dangerous smile slid across her lips. No problem. Adesuwa whispered, I will attend Femi's wedding, but not the way he expects. Behind her, 3 small voices called from inside the house. Mummy, Mummy, come and see. Mummy, look at us. Her triplets ran toward her. 2 girls and 1 boy, beautiful, bright-eyed, wearing matching white and gold outfits for the school cultural day. Their joy filled the air like sunlight breaking into a dark room. Ah, my babies, she said, kneeling to kiss each of them. Mummy, why do you look serious? The little boy, Gosa, asked. She forced a smile. Nothing, my love. Mummy is just thinking. Mummy, said a wheel, the boldest of the 3. Are we still at Uncle Cola's house in your big car today? Yes, my darling, she replied. Always. Their big car, her G-Wagon, the one people still whispered about when they saw her driving through Lekki. She stood, exhaled, and held the invitation card again. Imaid, she said into the phone. Tell the tailor to have my dress ready by Friday. Something elegant, nothing loud, and book the detailing appointment for the G-Wagon. Her sister choked, laughing. This wedding will shake internet. Adesuwa only smiled again, calm, soft, unbothered. I don't want to fight him. I don't want to shame him. I just want to show him I didn't die where he left me. She was about to say more when her phone buzzed again, this time with a message from Femi. Hope you won't embarrass me at the wedding. Don't bring those children. We don't want pity guests. Her blood went cold. Her children? The triplets he abandoned even before they were born? The ones he denied because he claimed poor women always trap men with pregnancy. The same children her inheritance now ensured would never know poverty again. She stared at the message long and hard. Then she typed back slowly. Thank you for the invitation. I'll be there. She didn't mention the children. She didn't mention the G-Wagon. She didn't mention the transformation. Let him think whatever he wanted. Let him believe what social media bloggers whispered about her being broke, struggling, manless, jobless, pitiful. Let him enjoy his last moment of peace. Because the woman who would step out of that G-Wagon on his wedding day would not be the woman he thought he destroyed. She was fire now, and she was coming. Triplets, she whispered, turning to her children. Go and get your shoes. Why, Mummy? We're going somewhere important. As they ran off, a maid's voice crackled through the phone. Sis, what exactly are you planning? Adesuwa lifted her chin, eyes dark with quiet storm. Nothing much, she said. Just attending my ex-husband's wedding. Then she added softly, and letting the world see what he lost. Just as she hung up, another message came in, this time from an unknown number. I know the truth about Femi. You need to be careful. Call me immediately. Her heartbeat stopped. Who was this? What truth? Before she could respond, the phone buzzed again. Don't trust anyone, especially the bride. Adesuwa's breath caught in her throat. Something was wrong, very wrong. And suddenly, this wasn't just about humiliation anymore. It was about danger and secrets and a wedding that held more darkness than anyone imagined. She looked at the invitation once more. What exactly was waiting for her at that wedding? And why did someone think she was in danger? Her hands tightened around the card. Whatever the truth was, she was walking straight into it. If you're loving this emotional and dramatic story, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful stories like this on Tales by Wealth. Your support keeps these stories alive. Who sent that mysterious warning message? What truth about Femi is being hidden? And why is the bride the one she must not trust? The next morning, Lagos was already alive with its usual restless heartbeat when Adesuwa stepped out into the soft breeze drifting across her Lekki compound. The early sun painted the sky gold, matching the quiet glow in her heart, a glow she hadn't felt in a long time. Strength, stability, preparedness. But beneath that glow, something dark pulsed quietly. The message from the unknown number. I know the truth about Femi. You need to be careful. Don't trust anyone, especially the bride. She had barely slept. She lay awake replaying every word, every tone, every memory of her marriage to Femi, wondering what truth could be worse than what she already knew. He had lied, cheated, belittled, abandoned her during pregnancy, denied his own children, dragged her name to the mud, and walked away without a second glance. What could possibly be worse? She didn't know yet, but she was going to find out. Mummy, we are ready, the triplets shouted from inside. She closed her eyes briefly, steadying her breath. Coming, my loves. Inside, the children stood in a perfect line, each holding their tiny water bottles like soldiers preparing for battle. A wheel flashed her signature mischievous smile. Mummy, are we going to that big house again today? Yes, Adesuwa replied. You look like you're thinking too much, Eric, the calmest of the three, added. Adesuwa pulled them all in for a hug. I just have something important to handle. A wheel narrowed her eyes dramatically. Is it about the wedding of that man who didn't like us before? Adesuwa inhaled sharply. Children, they saw everything. They heard everything. They felt everything. Yes, she whispered, but you don't need to worry about anything. They nodded, satisfied. For now, her phone vibrated again. She glanced down quickly. Unknown number. Why haven't you called me? A cold shiver ran down her back. She grabbed her keys, ushered the children to the car, and locked the house behind them. As they climbed into the G-Wagon, its white leather interior shining like new, the phone vibrated again. Unknown number. Time is running out. Her fingers tightened around the phone. Who is this? She typed. The reply came instantly. Someone who knows what Femi did to you. Someone who knows what he is planning now. Her stomach tightened. What exactly is he planning? She typed quickly. No reply. Just silence. Long and heavy. She put the phone face down on the seat and started the engine. As she drove through Lekki Phase 1, the early morning light reflected off the polished body of the G-Wagon, turning heads in every direction. People slowed down to stare, some admiring, some curious, some whispering. Good. They would whisper more on the wedding day. She dropped the children at school, kissed each of them, and watched until they disappeared inside the gate before returning to the car. As soon as she closed the door, the phone buzzed again, this time a call. Unknown number. Her heart thudded. She hesitated, and then she answered. Hello. Her voice was calm but low. A distorted male voice came through. Don't go to the wedding alone. Her breath froze. Who are you? I can't say, but you're walking into a trap. A trap? Her grip tightened. Speak clearly. What kind of trap? The voice paused, like someone checking over their shoulder. Femi is not marrying Bukola because of love, the voice whispered. That wedding is a cover. There are things he's hiding, dangerous things. And you, especially you, must be careful. Adesuwa's pulse roared in her ears. This doesn't make sense. I'm his ex-wife. Why would anything concern me? The voice hesitated again. Because what he did, it concerns your children. Her blood went cold. My children? She whispered, barely breathing. What do they have to do with this? Another long silence. Then, just don't go alone. And whatever you do, don't trust anything you see at that wedding. Not the smiles. Not the family. Not even the bride. They all know something you don't. Click. The call ended abruptly. Adesuwa sat still, breath shallow, mind racing. Children? Trap? Wedding cover? Everyone knows? Her phone buzzed again. Another message. But this time from her best friend, Adesuwa, who lived in Port Harcourt, but always seemed to know everything before anyone else. Adesuwa. Babe. I'm hearing strange rumors about that wedding, OO. Call me ASAP. Her chest tightened. Again? More warnings? She dialed instantly. Adesuwa, Adesuwa said before she could even greet. My dear, people are talking, and it's not small whispers, oh. What are they saying? Adesuwa asked. They said Femi rushed this wedding because something big is about to be exposed about him. Something he doesn't want the world to know. Adesuwa frowned. Exposed? About what? I don't know details yet, Adesuwa whispered. But it's something that can scatter his reputation. Something that might even cancel the wedding. And guess what? What? Your name entered the matter. Adesuwa's entire body stiffened. Mine? How? That's what I'm trying to find out. Someone called into a radio gossip show this morning, saying Femi's past is coming back to haunt him. And the person mentioned you indirectly. The ex-wife he treated badly. It sounded personal. She inhaled sharply. Adesuwa, she breathed. This is becoming too much. Exactly. Adesuwa said. That's why I'm telling you. Shine your eyes. Don't go there alone. Take someone you trust. Even if it's just your sister. My sister? Adesuwa murmured. Yes. Anyone you trust. Just don't enter that wedding hall alone. Something is off. Very off. As she ended the call, her phone buzzed again, this time with a social media notification. Trending. Femi Adesuwa and Bukola Adewale, wedding preparations. Comments. Where's the ex-wife? Hope she won't come and beg for crumbs. She'll probably sit at the back with her poverty. I heard she's still struggling with children. Adesuwa stared at the comments, her lips slowly curling into a cold smile. Oh, they would learn. They would all learn. She wasn't coming as a beggar. She wasn't coming as a broken woman. She wasn't coming as a shadow. She would arrive in her G-Wagon, with her triplets, with elegance and quiet wealth, with dignity, and with answers, no matter what secrets awaited. Just as she started the car again, her phone rang, this time showing a name that made her eyebrows rise. Unknown caller, but underneath, in smaller letters, voice ID suggestion, Makanjula Adesuwa. Her former brother-in-law? Why would he call her? Her heartbeat climbed. She answered slowly. Hello? A familiar, trembling male voice spoke. Adesuwa, please, don't tell anyone I called you. But you need to know something. Her chest tightened again. What is it, Makanjula? He hesitated so long she thought the line had cut. Then, in a shaking voice, he said, Femi is lying to everyone, including Bukola. If what he's hiding comes out on the wedding day, someone could get hurt. And I think that someone is you. Her breath caught. What is he hiding? She pressed. I can't say it here, he whispered. But it has to do with why he divorced you, and why he denied the children. It was never about poverty. It was never about you. It was because... The line cut. Dead. Adesuwa's heart slammed in her chest. Because what? What reason? What truth? Her hands shook as she stared at the deadline. Then another message came through, this time with no number, no ID, just a single sentence. They know the triplets are his. Adesuwa nearly dropped the phone. Her throat tightened. Her vision blurred. Impossible. Impossible. He denied them. He rejected them. He humiliated her because of them. He swore they weren't his. So why would someone say this? And if it was true, what exactly was waiting for her at that wedding? She pressed a hand over her chest, forcing herself to breathe. She needed answers. She needed clarity. She needed to know whether she was walking into a celebration or a battlefield. Just then, her phone buzzed again. This time, a voice note from the unknown number. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Whatever was inside, whatever she was about to hear, it might change everything. She pressed play. A male voice whispered urgently, Adesuwa! Listen carefully. The wedding is a trap. If you walk in without knowing the truth, everything you have, your peace, your children, your new life, could be destroyed. Femi's family is planning something, and you are the target. Click. The message ended. Adesuwa's breath hitched. Her body went cold. A target. They wanted her. Why? For what? Her eyes widened as one chilling thought formed slowly in her mind. What if the wedding invitation wasn't meant to embarrass her, but to capture her? She gripped the steering wheel tightly. Whatever game Femi and his family were playing, she was going to uncover it, and she would not walk into danger blind. But one thing was certain. She would still attend that wedding, with her G-Wagon, with her power, with her triplets by her side. But she would not go naive. She would go prepared, very prepared. If you're following the suspense-filled story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on Tales by Wealth, so you never miss powerful stories filled with twists and emotional revelations. What truth was Makanjula trying to reveal before the call cut? Why are they saying the triplets are his? And what exactly is the trap waiting at the wedding? What truth was Makanjula trying to reveal before the call cut? Why are they saying the triplets are his? And what exactly is the trap waiting at the wedding? The day moved slowly, like time itself was warning her to turn back. But Adesuwa didn't turn back. She had lived through shame before. Real shame. The type that leaves scars you learn to live with. What she would not live with now was fear. Not again. Not because of Femi. Not because of anyone. Still, the warnings from the unknown caller, the voice note, and Makanjula's trembling voice echoed in her mind like a chorus of ghosts. Someone could get hurt. It concerns your children. You are the target. They know the triplets are his. If you walk in blind, everything could be destroyed. The triplets his? She shook her head as she drove through Koi toward her lawyer's office. It couldn't be true. Femi rejected the children before they were even born. He never gave her a chance to explain. He accused her of trapping him with pregnancy because poor women always bring problems. He didn't even show up at the hospital when she gave birth. She raised those children alone. So why were people suddenly saying they were his? And what was the trap? She needed answers. Urgent answers. She entered the quiet compound of her lawyer, Barrister Kazoba, a calm, intelligent woman in her early 40s with a sharp mind and an even sharper sense of duty. If anyone could help her make sense of this, it was Kazoba. The security guard opened the gate the moment he recognized the G-Wagon. Inside, Kazoba stepped out of her office, adjusting her glasses when she saw her client's troubled expression. "My dear, sit," she said immediately. "What is going on?" Adesuwa handed her the invitation, the cruel note, and then showed her the screenshot of the messages and the voice note. Kazoba listened with a stone-still face, professional, analytical, absorbing every detail. When it ended, she leaned forward slowly. "Adesuwa," she said carefully, "there is more to this, much more." "What do you mean?" Kazoba rubbed her chin. "In the last 3 months, I've received 2 anonymous inquiries asking about your will, your inheritance, your assets, and, most suspiciously, your children." Adesuwa froze. "My children?" she whispered. "Why?" I couldn't tell who it was. They used private numbers and fake names. But one thing stood out. Kazoba clicked her pen. The voice sounded familiar. Very familiar. How familiar? Kazoba didn't blink. "Like your ex-husband's mother, Madame Adesuwa." Adesuwa's heartbeat stuttered. Femi's mother? The woman who hated her from day one? The woman who told her she wasn't good enough? The woman who called her pregnancy a mistake? The woman who encouraged Femi to leave the marriage? What would she want with my children? Adesuwa whispered. Kazoba hesitated. "Are you sure Femi is not the father?" Something in Adesuwa broke open. Anger, pain, disbelief. "Kazoba," she said sharply. "He rejected them. He insulted me. He threw me out when I was pregnant. He refused every attempt I made to explain." "Yes," Kazoba agreed. "But that was then. What if something has changed? What if he knows something now that he didn't know before?" Adesuwa frowned. "Like what?" Kazoba stood and walked to a drawer. She returned with a file, thin, but with a red label on it. "I didn't want to show you this before," she said. "I didn't think it was relevant. But now, I think you need to see it." Adesuwa opened the file. Inside was a single sheet of paper, an official document from a private medical lab. Her hands trembled as she read. "Genetic markers. Match found." Her breath died. "What is this?" she choked. "The anonymous inquiries came shortly after this test result was sent to my office," Kazoba said. "And no, you did not request any test. Someone else did." Adesuwa blinked rapidly. "So someone took my children's DNA?" "No," Kazoba said. "Someone took Femi's." Adesuwa's pupils dilated. What do you mean?" "The test result shows that whoever requested the test submitted Femi's DNA sample, not the children's. Meaning they weren't trying to confirm if the triplets were his. They were trying to confirm something else." "Confirm what?" Kazoba inhaled deeply. "That Femi has a genetic condition." Adesuwa froze. A genetic condition? Her mind raced. He never told her anything like that. He never mentioned it throughout their marriage. He acted like he was perfect, strong, healthy, superior. "What condition?" she whispered. "I don't know," Kazoba admitted. "But the callers were specifically asking if your children showed any symptoms." Adesuwa felt the room tilt. "No," she whispered. "No, my children are healthy. Very healthy." "I know," Kazoba said gently. "But someone, maybe his family, suspects something, and they fear the truth may come out." "What truth?" "That the condition runs in Femi's bloodline." Adesuwa's heart slammed. "Are you saying his family wants to know if the children inherited it?" "Yes," Kazoba said. "And if the triplets inherited it, then Femi is their father." Adesuwa gripped the desk. The world spun. No, this couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. But the timeline made sense. The warnings made sense. The fear from the callers made sense. Madame Adesuwa's sudden interest made sense. The wedding rush made sense. "What does this have to do with the wedding?" she whispered. Kazoba leaned closer. "If Femi knows the truth, and if he's hiding it, then the wedding may not be a celebration. It may be damage control." "Damage control?" "Yes, because if Bucola's family discovers Femi's condition before the wedding, they can cancel the entire marriage. And if the world discovers that Femi has children he denied, whose blood might reveal his genetic secret." Adesuwa's entire body went numb. Then everything falls apart. The puzzle pieces slam together. The wedding isn't about love. It's about hiding the truth. It's about protecting a lie. It's about preventing scandal. And she, Adesuwa, the ex-wife who had triplets born in secrecy, the woman they thought was powerless, the woman they abandoned and mocked, was the biggest threat to their plans. Her and her children. So the trap, Adesuwa whispered weakly, is to silence you, Kizoba said, to stop you from revealing what you don't even know you're carrying. A chill struck her spine, a deep, bone-deep chill. Kizoba, her voice cracked. What do I do? You do not go there alone, Kizoba said firmly. You must bring someone strong, someone who can stand by you. My sister? Yes, and more. You need witnesses, people who know your story, people who know the truth. Adesuwa nodded weakly. Kizoba handed her the file. Keep it safe. As she left the office, her phone buzzed again. Another message from the anonymous number. You are getting closer, but not close enough. Ask yourself, why did Femi really divorce you? Adesuwa swallowed. Why? 3 years ago, she thought it was because she was poor, because she wasn't glamorous, because she wasn't enough. But what if the truth was something else? Something far bigger, something that had nothing to do with poverty, and everything to do with the triplets? Her breath trembled. She got into the G-Wagon and shut the door. Another message arrived instantly. A single sentence that hollowed her chest. He divorced you the day he discovered you were pregnant, because he feared the children would expose his condition. Adesuwa felt everything leave her body. Air, strength, balance. Her hand clutched her chest. Her children, her beautiful children, her miracle triplets. Were they the reason he left? Were they the reason he panicked? Were they the reason her world collapsed? Because he feared. They were truly his? Her phone buzzed again. One last message. And the bride knows everything. Adesuwa's breath vanished. Bukola? The bride? Why would she know? Her hand shook violently. If the bride knew the truth and still agreed to marry him, then she wasn't innocent at all. And if she knew about the children, then this wedding was more than a trap. It was an ambush, a well-planned ambush, and she was walking straight into it. The air was heavy that afternoon, the kind of Lagos heat that settled on the skin like a warning. Adesuwa sat in the driveway of her home, the G-Wagon engine humming quietly beneath her fingers. She stared ahead, not really seeing anything, just replaying every word from Kizoba, every whisper from the unknown caller, every breath from Makanjula's trembling voice. A genetic condition, a secret Femi feared she would expose, a wedding planned as damage control, a bride who already knew the truth, and the most frightening of all, her children were the key to everything. Mummy, a small voice said from the back seat. She blinked, turning. Eric was watching her with wide, curious eyes. Are we still going to Annie and Maid's house? Yes, darling, she whispered. Eric leaned forward. Mummy, are you afraid? Adesuwa swallowed hard, forcing her voice steady. No, my love. Mummy is thinking. About the wedding? She managed a weak smile. Children were detectives without training. Yes. Eric nodded knowingly and sat back. Don't worry, Mummy. We will go together. We will be with you. For a moment, her heart softened. Her children, her miracle babies, were the only reason she found the strength to stand tall. But they were also the reason danger lurked around the corner. She started the car, driving slowly toward a maid's house in Lekki. Halfway there, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down and almost slammed the brakes. Message from the bride. Her fingers trembled. She opened it. We need to talk. Privately. Before the wedding. Bukola Adewale. Adesuwa felt her entire chest tighten. Why would the bride reach out? Why now? Did she know about the warnings? About the DNA test? About the children? Another message came instantly. Please, this is urgent. I can't say much here. Adesuwa hesitated. Then a third message. Femi is lying to you. To everyone. You need to hear the truth from me. Her breath froze. The bride was reaching out. Against the groom? Why? Before she could respond, Her phone buzzed again. Another message, but this time from the anonymous number. Don't meet the bride alone. Her heart lurched. The timing, too perfect, too coordinated. Almost like someone was watching every move she made. She lowered the phone and continued driving, mind spinning like a storm. At a maid's house, her sister rushed out with arms wide open the second the G-Wagon stopped. "Sis." A maid pulled her into a tight hug. "What happened?" "You sounded worried on the phone." Adesuwa didn't speak immediately. She simply handed her the file Kazoba gave her. A maid opened it, her eyes widening as she read. "Jesus Christ," she whispered. "Femi has a genetic condition, and his family knew, and he left you because he feared the children might expose him." Adesuwa nodded faintly. A maid paced. "This is madness, pure madness. And now, all these people are warning you? For what? To scare you away from the wedding? Or to make you come? Which one is it?" "I don't know," Adesuwa whispered. A maid threw her hands up. "So what's the plan?" Before she could answer, the triplets ran into the house, filling the space with soft footsteps and tiny laughter. But as the laughter echoed, Adesuwa felt something else echo inside her. Fear, and a question she could no longer ignore. What if the wedding wasn't just a trap? What if the wedding was a moment they planned to reveal the truth themselves? If Femi feared the children expose him, then maybe he wanted to control the narrative, choose the moment the truth came out, make her look guilty, make her look deceptive, make her look like a liar. And if Bukola knew, then the bride wasn't innocent. She was a participant, a planner, a witness. Adesuwa's stomach twisted. A maid placed a hand on her shoulder. "Sis, whatever you decide, I'm with you. I will not let you walk into that place alone." Adesuwa nodded. Then her phone buzzed again. "Bukola, please, Adesuwa. I beg you. I'm not safe. Meet me at 8 p.m. at Café Lumiere. Come alone." "Alone? No, never." Before she could respond, another message came from the unknown number. "If you go to that meeting, you may not come back." Adesuwa's breath vanished. A maid snatched the phone from her. "You're not going anywhere." But something burned inside Adesuwa, something stronger than fear, curiosity, determination, the need to know the truth. "I must go," she whispered. "Are you insane?" A maid shouted. Nobody goes to a secret meeting with the bride of their ex-husband, especially when there are threats, especially when it's the only way to know who to trust. A maid's eyes widened. "Trust? Trust." She threw her hands in the air. "Sis, there is nobody to trust." But there was one person she trusted, herself. She turned away, breathing deeply. She would go, but not alone, never alone. She would go strategically, prepared, watched, guarded, and she would discover what the bride wanted to say. She would uncover the truth. Tonight, 8 p.m., Café Lumiere Koi. The cafe was dimly lit, elegant. The kind of place wealthy Lagos women visited to gossip in whispers. Adesuwa walked in with calm expression, her black dress simple but regal, her hair pulled back neatly. She caught several eyes, but she ignored them. She sat at a corner booth, hands folded, mind steady. She was not alone. A maid was outside in the car, watching the entrance. Kazoba had the location and a 10-minute check-in timer. And a private security officer she hired quietly sat 2 tables away, pretending to read a newspaper. She was protected. She waited for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then the door opened. The bride walked in. Bukola, beautiful, graceful, but her eyes were swollen from crying. She spotted Adesuwa immediately and rushed toward the table. "Thank you for coming," she whispered, voice trembling. "I didn't think you would." Adesuwa watched her calmly. "What do you want to tell me?" Bukola looked around nervously. "Please keep your voice low. If Femi or his family finds out I came here, I'm finished." Adesuwa didn't blink. "Speak." Bukola swallowed hard. "Femi is lying to you, and to me, and to everyone. This wedding is not what it seems." Adesuwa's jaw tightened. I already know about the genetic condition. Bucola flinched, visibly shocked. You know? Yes. Tears filled Bucola's eyes. Then you know why he left you. Adesuwa nodded slowly. Because he feared the children might expose him. No! Bucola shook her head violently. He left you because the doctor told him something worse. Something far worse. Adesuwa tensed. What? Bucola looked her dead in the eye and whispered. Femi was told he cannot father children. Silence. A deep, suffocating silence. Adesuwa's entire body turned to ice. What did you say? She breathed. Bucola covered her mouth. He has a condition. A rare one. The doctor said he cannot father children. Not now. Not before. Not ever. That means Bucola swallowed, tears spilling. The triplets, the world blurred. They're not supposed to exist, Bucola whispered. But they do. And that means they are his. Adesuwa finished in a cracked whisper. Bucola nodded desperately. Yes, and his family knows. They know the truth. That's why they rushed the wedding. They want to present a united front before the truth comes out publicly. Adesuwa felt her heart breaking open. Her children were his. They always were. Her instincts were right. But he abandoned her not because he didn't believe her, but because believing her meant exposing his condition to the world. But that's not all, Bucola whispered. Adesuwa looked up, barely breathing. Bucola leaned closer, voice trembling. Femi is planning something on the wedding day. Something involving you and the children. Something terrible. Adesuwa's stomach twisted. What is he planning? She whispered. Bucola's lips trembled. I shouldn't be here. If he discovers I told you. Bucola, what is he planning? Bucola squeezed her eyes shut. Then she whispered the words that tore the night apart. He wants to take the triplets away from you. Adesuwa's breath shattered. No. Bucola nodded frantically. Yes, his family hired people. They are planning to declare you unfit on the wedding day. They want custody. They want the children as proof that the bloodline is not cursed. They want to use them to save the family name. Adesuwa felt like she was sinking, drowning, suffocating. Bucola reached across the table and grabbed her hands. He wants to take your children, Adesuwa, permanently. The cafe spun. Her hands shook violently. Breath gone. Heart racing. Mind screaming. Bucola squeezed her hands harder. And he will do it in front of everyone. At the wedding. Adesuwa looked into her eyes, horrified, shaking, burning. What do I do? She whispered. Bucola took a deep breath. Don't go to the wedding unless you are ready for war. Adesuwa couldn't breathe. The cafe walls blurred. The hum of soft music vanished, and all she could hear was Bucola's trembling voice repeating over and over in her head. He wants to take your triplets away. He will do it publicly, on the wedding day. Her chest tightened painfully, her throat closing. Femi, the same man who abandoned her, the same man who denied the pregnancy, the same man who mocked her poverty, the same man who invited her to humiliate her, now wanted to take the children he swore were not his? Her hands balled into fists as a slow-burning fire rose inside her, hot, fierce, and dangerous. No, he would not get away with this. Not again. Not ever. Why are you telling me this? Adesuwa finally whispered, her voice steady but cold. Bucola swallowed, tears clinging to her lashes. Because I didn't know. I didn't know what kind of man he was until it was too late. He lied to me from the beginning. I thought he loved me. She shook her head. But he only loves control, and he will destroy anyone who threatens the image he wants the world to see. Adesuwa stared at her. Are you trying to stop the wedding? Bucola laughed softly, a broken, humorless sound. Stop? I can't stop anything. My parents signed business agreements with his family. Investors are attending. Politicians. Celebrities. If I pull out now, the scandal will destroy my father's company. She wiped her eyes. They will blame me, not him. Adesuwa exhaled sharply. So you're warning me to save yourself? No, Bucola said quickly. I'm warning you because no woman deserves what he plans to do. She lowered her voice. He wants to declare you mentally unstable. He says you fabricated the pregnancy to trap him. Adesuwa felt her heart drop. Mentally unstable? Her? A mother who survived alone, raised triplets, built a life from scratch, managed her inheritance with discipline? But it made sense. Evil sense. If they could paint her as unfit, if they could make her look irresponsible, if they could shame her publicly, they could take the children. And he thinks he has evidence, Bukola whispered. Evidence. Adesuwa snapped. What evidence? Bukola looked down at her hands. Fake medical reports. A psychologist on payroll. And a forged hospital record claiming the triplets are not biologically yours. Silence. A long, deadly silence. Adesuwa's chest rose and fell rapidly. Forged what? He plans to present it at the reception, Bukola said breathlessly. He wants the crowd, the cameras, the journalists to see you as a liar, to see you as a woman who stole someone else's children to gain sympathy. A sharp, violent heat stabbed through Adesuwa. Her children, her pregnancy, her pain, her struggles, her labor, her baby she almost died bringing into the world. He wanted to rewrite their story, erase her sacrifice, destroy her motherhood. Her jaw tightened so hard it hurt. Were these documents? I don't know where he keeps them, but his mother and older brother are the ones coordinating everything. Of course, Madame Adesuwa, the woman who never wanted her as a daughter-in-law, the woman who told her she wasn't classy enough, the woman who stood aside while her son threw a pregnant woman into the street. Adesuwa exhaled slowly, the air trembling with her fury. But there's one more thing, Bukola whispered. Adesuwa blinked. What now? Bukola hesitated. Then, they also hired someone to follow the children. Time stopped. Adesuwa jerked to her feet, the chair scraping loudly. What? Bukola grabbed her hand, panicking. Please, keep your voice down. Who is following them? Adesuwa demanded, shaking. Who? I don't know, but I heard his mother say it last night. They paid someone to monitor where you go, where the children go, who they meet, everything. They want to know your routine so they can take them easily without a fight. Adesuwa's entire world went red. A cold, murderous kind of red. Her babies, her heart, her everything. She snatched her hand from Bukola. I swear, if anything happens to my children... I know, Bukola whispered. That's why I reached out. Adesuwa forced herself to breathe. Why didn't you call the police? She asked. Bukola let out a shaky laugh. Police? Against a family with political connections? Money? Power? My dear, they can erase evidence in minutes. They can pay officers to switch statements. They can turn it into a case against you. The truth cut deep. Femi's family was wealthy, connected, untouchable, or so they believed. Listen to me, Bukola whispered urgently. You need to protect your children tonight. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Tonight. Adesuwa nodded slowly. Then she stepped back. Thank you for telling me, she said quietly. I'm sorry, Bukola whispered, tears falling freely now. Truly, truly sorry. Adesuwa turned and walked out of the cafe without another word. The drive home. Every traffic light felt like a threat. Every passing car looked suspicious. Every motorcycle that lingered behind her made her pulse race. By the time she reached the maid's gate, sweat lined her forehead despite the AC blasting in the car. She rushed inside. The triplets were asleep on the couch, curled up like angels, unaware of the storm raging around them. A maid rushed to her. Sis, what happened? Adesuwa's voice broke. They're planning to take my children. A maid gasped. What? Who? Femi's family. Her voice shook. He wants to do it at the wedding. Publicly. He forged documents. He's following the children. He's planning everything. A maid's mouth dropped open. Silence stretched for several seconds. Then a maid gripped her sister's shoulders tightly. Sis, we have to fight. Adesuwa nodded. We will, but we have to be careful. She looked at her sleeping children. Soft breathing, tiny fingers, innocent faces. her eyes filled with tears. These children were not just hers. They were her survival, her victory, her reason to continue. Nobody, not Femi, not his mother, not his brothers, not anyone, was going to take them. Not while she breathed. Her phone buzzed again. A video message from an unknown number. Her stomach dropped. She opened it with trembling fingers. The video loaded. It showed a blurry recording of her triplets walking out of the school gate that afternoon. A man's voice whispered in the background, "We know where they are." The video ended abruptly. Adesuwa screamed. Imaid gasped, covering her mouth. "Oh my God, sister! Oh my God!" Her phone buzzed again. A single message. "You cannot hide them forever. See you at the wedding." Her heart stopped. Her breath vanished. And slowly, rage unlike anything she'd ever felt filled her chest. She raised her head, eyes burning like fire. "This wedding," she whispered, "will not break me." Her voice grew harder. "It will break them." That night, sleep refused to come. Adesuwa sat in the dim glow of Imaid's living room, every muscle in her body tight with fear, anger, and a new kind of cold determination she had never felt before. The video replayed in her mind. Her triplets walking out of their school gate and a stranger's voice whispering, "We know where they are." Her fists clenched. Her children were in danger. Not emotional pain. Not humiliation. Physical danger. And Femi's family had orchestrated it with precision. Her mind drifted back to Bukola's trembling words. "He wants to take your children. He wants to make it public. He wants to destroy your credibility forever." Her children, her reason for breathing, her life's only pure joy. They wanted to snatch them away, to save their crooked family name. A slow, deadly calm settled inside her. She wasn't just going to attend the wedding. She wasn't just going to defend herself. She was going to end their plans. Completely. The first move. Imaid sat beside her, eyes red from crying. "Sis," she whispered, "tell me what you're thinking. Please." Adesuwa turned slowly, her voice steady. "We need to move the children tonight. Immediately. Move them where? To somewhere nobody would ever think to look." Imaid frowned. "You mean a hotel?" "No. Hotel staff can be bribed. Security can be bought. Your house. They're being watched." Imaid held her breath. "Then where?" Adesuwa looked around the room, her eyes sharp and calculating. Then she whispered one name, Uncle Osato. Imaid gasped. "Your mother's cousin? The one who hates public attention? The one who lives deep in Iroma village?" "Yes." Imaid blinked. "Sis, that place is like hiding in a forest. Nobody will think to search there. That's the point." Imaid swallowed. "But he's strict, very strict." Adesuwa looked at her sleeping children again. "He's strict, but he is loyal, and he loved my mother more than anyone." She stood. "We leave at dawn." The second move. Adesuwa's lawyer, Barrister Kizoba, arrived just after 6 a.m., her face serious, her hair still wrapped in a mourning scarf. "You said it was urgent," Kizoba breathed, rushing inside. Adesuwa handed her the phone with the video message. Kizoba watched it, her face hardening with every second. When it ended, she placed the phone down slowly. "This isn't just intimidation," she said quietly. "This is surveillance. Organized surveillance. And if they're bold enough to record your children, they are bold enough to attempt abduction." Adesuwa's breath hitched, but she kept her composure. "We moved the children to a safe location today, and you will draft a legal statement declaring that any attempt to remove them is a violation of their rights." Kizoba nodded. "Done. But that alone won't stop them. You need more." Adesuwa looked at her. "Then give me more." Kizoba paused. "You need evidence. Hard evidence. Something that proves you're the victim, not the liar they are painting you to be." Adesuwa swallowed. "How?" "You need to expose their plot. Publicly." Adesuwa frowned. "Before they expose theirs." "Exactly." Imaid gasped. "You want my sister to go on social media and say the wedding is a trap?" No, Kizoba said. That would backfire. They would twist it to make her look unstable. No, the revelation must happen at the wedding. Adesuwa blinked. At the wedding? Kizoba nodded. Yes. If they want a show, we give them a show. But we control the stage. A slow, dark smile touched Adesuwa's lips. Good. The third move, calling for backup. At 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. Adesuwa opened the door and froze. Standing there, tall, stern, broad-shouldered, and with the intimidating calmness of a retired commander, was Uncle Osato. He looked at her the way her mother used to look at her, deep, assessing, protective. You called, he rumbled. Adesuwa nodded slowly. Thank you for coming. I left before sunrise, he said simply. Where are the children? Adesuwa pointed inside. Osato walked in without another word. His eyes softened briefly as he looked at the sleeping triplets, but only for a moment before his face hardened again. Who is threatening them? He asked. Femi's family, Adesuwa said. They plan to take them at his wedding. Osato's jaw clenched so tight a vein popped at his temple. They dare attempt that with my bloodline, he growled. Over my dead body. A maid winced. Uncle, this is serious. Osato turned to her sharply. That's why I am here. Children will be moved with me. Today. Adesuwa nodded. Thank you. But Osato wasn't done. He stepped closer to Adesuwa and said something she didn't expect. I knew that man never deserved you. And now he wants to take the only good thing that came from your pain. He shook his head slowly. Let him try. The trip. They moved fast. By noon, the triplets were dressed, fed, still a little sleepy. A wheel tugged Adesuwa's dress. Mummy, where are we going? Somewhere safe, Adesuwa whispered. Are we in trouble? Arid asked. No, my loves, she said, kneeling to hold them. But Mummy needs you to trust her. They nodded. Egosa hugged her tightly. We trust you, Mummy. Her heart broke, and hardened at the same time. She kissed each of them. Osato lifted their bags, each one rugged and weatherproof. Come. A wheel reached for Adesuwa again. Mummy, are you coming? Adesuwa's throat tightened. I'll join you soon, she whispered. Promise? She cupped their cheeks. I promise. Osato ushered them into his old but powerful Hilux Jeep, one he maintained like a tank. As they drove away, one of the triplets waved through the back window until the car turned the corner. It made close the gate slowly, tears falling. Sis, she whispered, are you sure you'll be okay? Adesuwa inhaled deeply. What comes next, she murmured, is for me alone. The fourth move, going into the lion's den, with the children safe and out of sight. Adesuwa focused on the next step. Confrontation. Not emotional. Strategic. She changed into a simple black dress, tied her hair neatly, and took only her phone and her dignity. By 3 p.m., she arrived at the Adesuwa family mansion, massive, intimidating, heavily guarded. She walked through the gates with the confidence of a woman who had nothing left to fear. A security guard stepped forward. Yes, madam? Who are you looking for? Madam Adesuwa, she said simply. They let her in. The moment she stepped into the living room, she saw Femi's mother, Madam Adesuwa, sitting majestically like a self-appointed queen. Her eyes narrowed. You, she hissed. Why are you here? Adesuwa didn't blink. To tell you the children are gone. Madam Adesuwa froze. Gone, she repeated. Safe, Adesuwa corrected calmly. Far away from your reach. The older woman clenched her jaw. Where are they? Somewhere your spies will never find. Madam Adesuwa stood. You think you can defy us? You try to take what is mine, Adesuwa said quietly. But you underestimated me. Madam Adesuwa laughed, sharp and cruel. You think moving them will save you? We still have the documents. We still have the psychologist. We still have the report. Tomorrow we'll expose you. You'll lose everything. Adesuwa stepped closer. No, she whispered. Tomorrow you will. Madam Adesuwa blinked. Whatever game you're playing, she scoffed, you are already outnumbered. Adesuwa smiled. Then you should know something, she said. When a woman has nothing left to lose, she becomes the most dangerous creature alive. Madame Adegun's eyes darkened. You plan to fight us at the wedding? Yes. You will fail. No, Adesuwa said softly. I will not. She turned toward the door. But Madame Adegun said something that made her stop cold. You don't understand, girl. The trap is not the wedding. The trap is already in motion. Adesuwa's heart slammed. She turned sharply. What do you mean? Madame Adegun smirked, eyes gleaming with cruelty. You should never have sent the children away. A chill spread down Adesuwa's spine. She stepped closer. Why? Because, Madame Adegun whispered slowly, we already know where they are. For several seconds, Adesuwa could not breathe. Madame Adegun's words slammed into her chest with the force of a moving trailer. We already know where the children are. Her vision blurred. Her heart thundered violently, and for the first time since this nightmare began, fear took the shape of something physical, sharp, cold, and violent inside her ribcage. She stepped forward slowly, voice trembling but deadly. What do you mean you know where they are? How? Madame Adegun smirked with a confidence that made Adesuwa's skin crawl. You really think you're smarter than all of us? You think you can hide 3 children, the most important proof in this situation, from a family that has planned this trap for almost a year? Adesuwa's eyes widened. A year? This wasn't a last-minute plot. This was orchestrated, long-term, strategic, calculated. Her blood ran cold. Madame Adegun leaned back on the couch, fingers tapping rhythmically. You should have asked yourself how easy it was to move around today without being followed. She smiled wickedly. We allowed it. Allowed? Adesuwa's stomach dropped. You don't know where they are, she said firmly. You're bluffing. Madame Adegun chuckled. Am I? She picked up her phone, pressed a button, and turned the screen toward Adesuwa. A picture filled the screen. A picture that stole every drop of air from Adesuwa's lungs. Her triplets, stepping out of Osato's Hilux. At the entrance of his remote compound, a man unknown, smiling faintly, stood across the road, holding a phone up like he was texting. He wasn't texting. He was recording. Adesuwa's hand flew to her mouth, her knees threatening to give out. No, she whispered, voice breaking. No, no. Madame Adegun watched her reaction with satisfaction. We've known about Osato since the moment you called him. Adesuwa's world spun. Impossible. She made the call inside a maid's house. She used her mobile network. She looked around. She checked her surroundings. She checked every window. No one was supposed to know. How? She gasped. How did you know? Madame Adegun's smile widened, cold and triumphant. Because someone close to you is working with us. The floor seemed to tilt. Adesuwa's lips parted, but no words came out. Someone close to her? No. No. Her people were loyal. A maid? Impossible. Her sister would die for those children. Kizoba? Never. She was too principled, too structured, too protective. Osato? He was old-fashioned and harsh, but loyal. He wouldn't dare betray the bloodline. So who? Madame Adegun lifted her chin. You thought you were careful, but the truth is, every step you took today was monitored. Every call you made was traced. Every movement you thought was secret, we already had the details. Her voice lowered into something sinister. You are small compared to us. Weak. Predictable. Adesuwa's fingers curled. If she wasn't standing in front of someone old enough to be her mother, her anger might have become physical. You won't get away with this, she whispered. I already have, Madame Adegun said softly. And tomorrow, when the minister, the governor, the journalists, the influencers, and everyone else at the wedding hears our announcement, you will be finished. And the children will be with the family where they belong. Adesuwa's chest tightened as fire rushed up her throat. They don't belong to you, she hissed. Madame Adegun stood slowly, face cold and triumphant. They belong to my son. Adesuwa's heartbeat stopped. My son who cannot father children, yet miraculously has 3. Her eyes gleamed. Do you know what that means for us? Do you know what it means for our name? For our legacy? Adesuwa stared, horrified. You want them because they prove he's not infertile. Yes, Madame Adesuwa said proudly. They proved the curse on our bloodline is broken. Adesuwa felt sick. Her children were miracles to her. They were trophies to this wicked family. We will win, the older woman said quietly, because, unlike you, we are willing to do whatever it takes. Adesuwa shook her head slowly. You don't understand. I will not let you touch them. Madame Adesuwa stepped closer. You don't understand, she whispered. You already have. The fight inside. When Adesuwa walked out of the mansion, she could barely see. Her vision trembled with rage and terror as she got into G-Wagon, slammed the door and locked it. Her hands shook nonstop. Her mind screamed, someone betrayed me. Someone gave them information. Someone is feeding them details. She replayed every moment. Who could it be? A maid? Never. Kizoba? No. Impossible. Osato? Even in his harshness, he protected family above all else. So who? Suddenly, her eyes widened. There was one person she didn't consider. The driver. The driver who had taken the children to school yesterday. The driver who wasn't supposed to work today. The driver who arrived suddenly at Osato's house, with fuel earlier in the week. The driver who always had his phone out. Her stomach dropped. She dialed a maid instantly. Sis, are you okay? A maid answered, worried. Where's Colonel? Adesuwa asked sharply. The driver? He isn't here. Why? Adesuwa froze. Did you tell him anything about moving the children? A maid hesitated. Sis, he heard when we were talking yesterday. He helped us carry their bags. But he wouldn't. Her voice cracked. Oh, God. Sis, what if... Adesuwa's breath hitched. Call Uncle Osato now. Immediately. Do not waste 1 second. Okay. Adesuwa hung up and dialed Osato herself. The line rang. Once. Twice. 3 times. Nothing. Her heart pounded. She called again. Nothing. Again. Nothing. No, please, she whispered. On the 5th call, the line connected. But it wasn't Osato's voice that answered. A stranger's voice said, Looking for the children? Adesuwa's heart stopped. Her entire body went numb. Then the voice laughed low and cruel. Don't worry. They're safe. Her phone slipped from her hand. The line went dead. Her breath shattered. Her scream tore through the inside of the car. No! The moment everything broke, she dialed again. Again. No answer. Her hands trembled so violently she almost dropped the phone again. A maid called back. Sis, she cried. Uncle Osato's number is not connecting. What's happening? Adesuwa forced air into her lungs. Listen carefully. Lock your doors. Do not open for anyone. Not even police. Not even neighbors. Sis, do it now. Oh, okay. She hung up. Her chest ached so violently she thought she might collapse. Her triplets, her little ones, her heart, her life, gone, taken, stolen. She could barely breathe. Her mind screamed one sentence over and over. Femi took them first. He took them before the wedding. He took them now. She slammed her fist against the steering wheel. I swear to God, Femi, she whispered, voice shaken with a fury so deep it felt like her soul was burning. If you hurt my children, I will destroy you. I will destroy every single person in your family. I will burn your legacy to ashes. Her phone vibrated again. A text message. 1 sentence. No name. No number. Just a message that ripped her world apart. See you tomorrow with the children. Her vision swam. Her chest collapsed. Her entire world broke. She screamed until she had no voice. The morning of the wedding arrived like a storm, unwanted, raging, and impossible to avoid. Adesuwa stood in front of her mirror, staring at the woman reflected back at her. Her eyes, red, swollen, but burning. Her lips, pressed tight with rage. Her heart, shattered but still beating. Her body, shaking but not with fear, with purpose. She dressed with slow, deliberate movements. A long, fitted emerald dress that hugged her curves. Minimal jewelry. hair in a neat bun, makeup soft but sharp, no theatrics, no loudness, just power. Her thoughts screamed one thing: my children, my babies, my triplets, I'm coming for you. A maid hovered beside her, trembling with fear. Sis, are you sure you want to go? They have the children. They have everything planned. What if... Adesuwa touched her cheek gently. A maid, listen to me. Yes. This wedding will not end the way they planned. A maid swallowed hard. Do you have a plan? Yes. A maid hesitated. Does the plan involve the police? No, sister. I said no. A maid stepped back because she knew. She saw it in Adesuwa's eyes. Today wasn't about negotiation. Today wasn't about innocence. Today wasn't about who the world would believe. Today was about warfare, a mother's warfare, the kind only God himself could judge. The wedding grounds, 40 minutes later. The Adesuwa mansion had been transformed into a palace. White tents, golden drapes, flowers arranged like a royal garden, music playing softly in the background. Security stood everywhere. Drones hovered. Cameras flashed. Journalists waited. It looked like a festival. But to Adesuwa, it looked like a battlefield. She stepped out of the G-Wagon, doors opening like the beginning of a movie climax. Heads turned instantly. The murmurs started like ripples across water. Is that the ex-wife? She came. She looks rich. Is that a G-Wagon? See beauty. Huh. Drama must happen today. Phones lifted. Screens pointed. Eyes widened. But she didn't look at them. She looked at only one thing. The front of the mansion, where she saw the person she hated most. Femi, standing tall, smiling sharply, wearing a white agbada embroidered in gold, looking like a king at his coronation. Their eyes locked across the distance. His smirk widened, because he believed she was broken, because he believed she had no power left, because he believed he had already won. Adesuwa's heart hardened. Today, she would ruin him. The wedding ceremony begins. The crowd filled a massive yard. The bride walked down the aisle, beautiful but tense. The groom stood beside her, looking proud. His mother, Madame Adesuwa, sat with smug triumph. Adesuwa walked in silently, taking a seat at the far end. Her pulse hammered in her ears. Her eyes scanned everything, every corner, every exit, every face. No sign of her children. None. A maid leaned close. Sis, I don't see them. I know, Adesuwa whispered. Her jaw clenched. They were hidden, somewhere in the mansion, somewhere close, somewhere being guarded. She would find them. She would tear down walls if she had to. The officiating minister began speaking. The crowd murmured. Phones recorded. The wedding was moving steadily. Then suddenly, ladies and gentlemen, Femi said loudly, interrupting the minister, I have a special announcement to make. The crowd gasped. Cameras turned. The minister stepped aside, offended. This was it. The trap. A maid grabbed her sister's hand. Oh, God. Femi stood tall, smiling confidently like a man who believed he owned the world. He lifted a microphone. Before I marry this wonderful woman, I must address something from my past. Every camera swung toward Adesuwa. Her spine stiffened. Femi continued, I was once married to someone here today. Whispers spread rapidly. Adesuwa stared, unblinking. She lied against me. Femi said, she trapped me with a pregnancy that wasn't mine. The crowd gasped. Adesuwa inhaled deeply, but she didn't stand. Not yet. Femi continued with a rehearsed, polished performance. She bore children, 3 children, claiming I fathered them. But ladies and gentlemen, I am medically incapable of fathering any child. People gasped louder. Some clutched their chests. Phones flashed. Cameras zoomed. He smiled cruelly. And today, I want to clear my name. I want the world to know the truth. He snapped his fingers. His older brother walked forward, holding a brown envelope. The medical documents are here. Madame Adesuwa smiled like a demon. Then, bring the children. The crowd turned sharply, just as two men appeared, carrying three small figures wrapped in white shawls. Adesuwa shot to her feet, her triplets, their little faces covered, their small legs dangling, their bodies too still. A scream tore through her chest. No! But before she could run, someone grabbed her arm, not to stop her, to protect her. Bukola, the bride, her face pale, her eyes wide, her hands shaking. Adesuwa, she cried. They tricked me too. Listen, this is your moment. The crowd erupted with shouts. Jesus, what is happening? Those are the children? But he just said he can't father children. So who is lying? Madame Adesuwa stood proudly. The children, she said loudly, will undergo a public DNA test today to prove they are not his. Gasps filled the air. The children whimpered softly under the shawls. Madame Adesuwa continued. And this woman, she pointed at Adesuwa, will be exposed to deception. Phones pointed at Adesuwa. She didn't move. She didn't cry. She didn't tremble. She walked forward slowly, with a burning calm that terrified everyone. The crowd parted for her like the Red Sea. She reached the center, facing Femi, Madame Adesuwa Bukola, and the three men holding her children. Her voice was soft, deadly. Uncover their faces. The men hesitated. Uncover their faces. They did, and the triplets blinked in the bright light, confused, sleepy, unharmed. Adesuwa inhaled sharply. Her knees almost buckled with relief. She lifted her chin. You want a test? She asked quietly. The crowd leaned in. Femi smirked. Of course, unless you are afraid. She smiled slowly. Good, she said, because I already brought one. Gasps. Whispers. She snapped her fingers. Kizoba, her lawyer, stepped out of the crowd with two men. The head geneticist from a leading Lagos hospital and a private forensic expert. Adesuwa's voice rang out. You forged documents. You hired fake psychologists. You stalked my children. You kidnapped them. You threatened me. The crowd murmured louder. But you made one mistake. She stepped closer to Femi, her eyes like fire. You forgot something. What? He scoffed. She smiled. A mother always plans ahead. Kizoba handed the real test results to the minister. He opened them. His eyes widened. He read aloud. Paternity test result. Femi Adesuwa, 99.98% match. Silence. Then the crowd exploded. What? He asked the father. But he said, then he lied. The children belong to him. Does that mean he tricked everyone? Cameras flashed wildly. People screamed. Some rushed forward. Some cried. Some laughed. Madame Adesuwa staggered backward. Femi went pale. Bukola burst into tears. Adesuwa stepped forward slowly, her eyes locked on Femi. You are not infertile, she said coldly. Your condition was misdiagnosed. And your mother knew. Your brother knew. You knew. The crowd gasped again. You abandoned me because you were afraid the world would know your secret. And you wanted to force my children into your family when you realized they proved you were whole. The minister shook his head. This is wickedness. Adesuwa finally stepped close enough to whisper into Femi's ear. You invited me here to disgrace me. But today, you disgraced yourself. She turned to the crowd. My children are not evidence of your legacy. They are evidence of my survival. The crowd cheered. Women shouted. God, punish wicked man. This woman is strong. She's a lioness. Ha! Wedding dawn scatter. Bukola collapsed, sobbing. He lied to me too. The officiating minister closed the wedding book. This ceremony is canceled. The hall erupted. Chaos. Anger. Shock. Cameras everywhere. Reporters rushing. Guests shouting. Security moved in. Madame Adesuwa screamed hysterically. This is not possible. Adesuwa held her triplets close, kissed their heads, and whispered, I told you I'd come for you. Femi lunged toward her in desperation, but armed security blocked him instantly. Stay back, sir. He screamed, "Adesuwa, please." "I didn't mean don't leave. Don't take them away." She turned once, just enough for him to see the finality in her eyes. "You lost us," she said softly, "the day you walked away." Then she lifted her children and walked out of the mansion to the sound of the crowd chanting, "Mother of the Year, Mother of the Year, Mother of the Year." Her G-Wagon door closed. She strapped the triplets in. Maid hugged her tightly. Bukola knelt beside the car door, apologizing through tears. Kizoba saluted her bravery, and as Adesuwa started the engine, she whispered to herself, "Never again." She drove away slowly, leaving the wedding in ruins, leaving Femi screaming in humiliation, leaving Madame Adesuwa collapsing in shock, and leaving Lagos with a story it would never forget.